Well, welcome to this lesson. I just wanted to do a quick video on showing you a little bit of how to do this linear regression using your calculators. And so we're going to start with just inputting the data into the calculator. So we talked about putting those in lists. So to get to the lists, we want to go to the stat key and we want to edit our list. So once we have it on edit, we can just hit enter. And here are my lists with the data for that first problem in our lesson. Excuse me. So once you have the data in your list, the next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and calculate the regression equation. So we're just going to hit the stat again, that stat key, which is right near your left arrow. And this time we want to go to calculate. So we need to move to the right. And the thing we're going to calculate is a linear regression where it's ax plus b. Remember, a would be the slope and b would be the y-intercept. Since that's option 4, I can just click number 4, or I could arrow down to it. I like to just put number 4 in there and it jumps right to it. So by default, your list should be L1 and L2. If they're not and you have to go get those, the way that you put those in there, if they were different lists, you can see that the lists are second functions on your calculator. So list 1 is the second function of number 1. If I wanted to put list 1 in there, I could go second L1. If I wanted that to be list 2, I would go second 2 for L2, and you can see how it puts that in there. Let me grab that again, second L2. So whatever list you need to be in there, the lists are the one that have the L before it. So this one I want to be list 1, so I'm going to choose second 1. Okay, so we have list 1 for our X list, our Y list is L2. We can skip the frequency list, and then the store the regression equation, we want to put that in Y1. So we go to the vars key right here and click vars, and then we want the Y vars option, so move to the right, and we want it to be one of our functions, and we're going to just choose Y1 and hit enter. So now it says we're going to store the regression equation in Y1. So hit enter again, and now it's flashing on the calculate. We want to go ahead and calculate the regression equation, and this is what we get. So our equation would be y equals 1,349.867,133x minus this number b for the y-intercept. So b is the y-intercept, a is the slope. And remember we talked about this r squared coefficient, and since that's a pretty significantly close to 1 value, we can say that this will probably follow a pretty good line. A linear regression is a good estimation of this. So then if we wanted to go ahead and graph it, we need to make sure that our window is set to appropriate values. So we need it below our lowest x value and a little bit above our highest x value. And we can go ahead and put those values in. Our y-min, I put in 0 to 55,000, and I went by 1,000. It tells you what values to use, an example of values in your worksheet, but these are the values I used. Once you have those in there, you can hit your graph button, and it should graph not only the points for your scatter plot, but also the linear regression equation. So that's what that looks like. Now the other thing that we can do that I didn't show you in class, I think I showed one class and not the other, is how to go ahead and make a prediction. So in your worksheet, it asks you to make a prediction on what the y value would be if we use the year 2015. So what we want to do for that is we're going to calculate, which is the second value of the trace function here. So go second trace, we want to calculate, and we want to calculate a value. Option 1 is what we want, so we can hit enter. And then you see x equal to flashing, and we're just going to put in there 2015. See if I can type this right. Let me try that again. Second, calculate value 2015. I was typing too fast. Sorry about that. And then once we hit enter, it'll calculate that value for us. And so it gets a value of 69,213.928. So that's how you actually use your regression equation or your prediction equation to predict a value then. Okay, so that's kind of a summary for you. I have a list over here just of different window values. I've got my table list, my stat plots, and my window values just to kind of show you what goes on there. So if you have any question, here's the equation too, the y1 equation if you're interested in that. If you have any questions on how to use your calculator, if things are not working well, be sure to come to see me in class. See you next time.